We are not connected to your Facebook anymore. So if you want your Facebook audience looped in, you're gonna have to stream it from your end.
Okay. Why not? You doing it? Oh, because you got enough followers to do it from your own page now.
No, no. We actually no. We still need like still need like 90 more followers before we can do that. Um, but it just automatically. I don't know if it's like some time limit, but it just automatically disconnected from yours. But I'm not logged into your Facebook anymore, so I can't connect it back. But you can stream on your end to your Facebook.
Okay. But you'll be streaming to YouTube, yeah?
We're already streaming. We're live. Yeah, we're live
Oh,
on YouTube.
shaka. Is today August 18th? Okay, I know where I'm starting with this meeting once we get going.
10th.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Ladies and gentlemen of my YouTube community, I know you only here for the hot takes, but today's not one of those days. Dang, I
Oh, I
wish I
got
could show
plenty.
you this
I got plenty of hot
video.
takes for today.
Oh, it's a live video. Hopefully I could just go live.
You trying to put one on here?
I'm just linking my Facebook real quick.
Okay. Well, then I'll get us started. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We appreciate you all. To all my Muslim brothers and sisters, I say assalamu alaikum. And to everyone else, thank you for joining us on this auspicious occasion. We have quite the subject today. If you guys read the title, we're looking at, what is our title for today? Oh yeah, AI, social credit, and the new control grid. Are you ready? Because I'll let you know right now, I'm not ready. I'm not I'm not down for this at all. But of course, as always, the lines are open for you guys to hop in and give your input on it. I'm going to put the link in the chat right now. So if you think social credit is a plus, a net positive for our society, then I'd love to hear why you think so.
I'll leave it to the chat first because I am almost streamed up.
All right. So, we have a myriad of topics to go through today. And it's kind of even hard to figure out where to start because we have so many different angles we can tackle this from. But I think first and foremost, what you say?
That was a joke. I just made a terrible joke.
Oh, as per usual. I would say first and foremost, I just want everybody out there to be safe and be careful. Prepare yourself. Things are changing fast. Like the things that we're going to discuss today are not theoretical. They're not like conspiracy theories. These are things that are already happening like right now. So everyone needs to, like I said, prepare yourselves mentally, spiritually, physically, as much as possible. Educate yourself on what's coming down the pipeline, what that means for you, what that means for all of us, so that you can make an informed decision about your future. So, Desmond, you hit me with a bunch of topics that you were trying to work in. I think you were just keeping notes in the chat, but
yeah, it wasn't 3 hours. It was just an hour and 20-minute video. And by the end of it, I'm just gonna give you my summation. For those who don't know, I watched this interview with one of my favorite comedians by the name of Theo Von. Theo Von, if you want to be on the podcast, bro, hit my line. You know how we stay connected. Along with
Yo, do me a favor. Bring your mic down a little bit. It's not the volume. Yeah, bring the physical mic a little closer to your mouth because it's like going in and out. And I've heard way better quality from you before, so I think hopefully that'll fix it.
test 89898682431.
Not bad. Still could be better. Still could be a little louder.
Hold on 1 second.
All good.
Okay. I think this will fix it.
Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah, so the conversation was between Theo Von and Sam Altman, who is the CEO of ChatGPT. And
OpenAI to be more specific, because they have
Thank-
more than just ChatGPT under their belt.
Right. And it was, what was crazy about it was a lot of stuff that we were talking about was talked about in that conversation.
Like, this is not a conspiracy. This is real.
Exactly. He even it was awkward that they Theo Von called Peter Thiel a tech lord, but not in a nice way. And then he showed this video where like somebody asked Peter Thiel, like, how do you like, do you want humanity to survive? And it was like something that should be an easy, like, yes, of course. But Theo Von's like, God, man, why do you have to ponder that? Like, how is that even a thought? Like, it should be an immediate. I think it took him about 20 seconds to like answer it. And Sam Altman was pointing out that that's one of his best friends or something. Because Theo Von asked a question that kind of like made Sam Altman look bad, and then he tried to take it back once he realized that Sam Altman and Peter Thiel was friends. And then Sam was like, nah, man, he's my friend, but I will acknowledge he's a little weird. And so there was these moments. Only reason I mentioned that was there's these moments where at times I felt like he was being honest, but then at times I could tell he was being the CEO of a company, if that makes sense. Because Theo Von had to use ChatGPT to compare a bunker to a basement because the dude tried to wiggle out. He's like, bro, do you have a bunker? And then he's like, oh, well, I've got some reinforced walls underground. And then he was like, nigga, you gotta, well, he didn't say the N-word, but he's like, bro, come on, don't try to. But then technically, after we talked about it, and that's why I said could tell it was a little candid, because afterwards he ended up saying like, you know what, that is something I've been thinking about. It's like actually building a he's like, because people are dropping bombs now, so I do need to build an actual bunker, because technically all he has is like a fortified basement, which is different from a bunker for a myriad of reasons. But even the fact that like an AI podcast went into the direction of, do you have an underground bunker? It's funny they mentioned Zuckerberg's in Hawaii and this and that. So there was these moments where it came back home to me. It just was a very kind of like relevant conversation that I'd love to bring in some of the key points and get your opinion on.
Okay, sounds good.
You just want to hit it hard?
Yeah, let's just hit the highlights.
Okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning because I think it is all highlightable. But I'll skip if I read it, I'm like, nah, that's the easy one. Yeah, sorry guys, I don't have the video to show you guys exactly what Theo was saying, but watch the podcast. It's only an hour and something long. It's called This Past Weekend with Theo Von.
We'll link it in the description.
Yeah, but basically the first thing I wanted to talk about is he talked about this universal income based on AI generated tokens. And so what he argued was like there was this space where everybody could get a piece of the like pie, basically, of like the
you chose like the, I don't know, you could argue best or worst place to start, because this one point right here is going to explode. This is a huge point that we have to unpack. a huge point. But go ahead. Go ahead.
But let's thank you for saying that. That was just the first one, and I felt that was a good one. Let's just skip that one for now, and let's get it like a softball one out the way, just to get the conversation rolling, get the
Okay.
chatting.
Okay.
But so another one was drinks look really refreshing. Companion AI, good or bad? What are your thoughts on that? So obviously the companion AIs have gone from everywhere from like helping someone work on a homework assignment / theorizing the universe to like theorizing the universe with you to like a pornographic companion and everything in between.
You say pornographic companion?
Yeah, AI has made it to the pornographic world too. So you can get an AI.
Goodness gracious!
Yeah,
it's like an actual like partner or like significant other who's an AI.
Yeah, to
basically just for gratification.
Yeah, converse with and make do things, etc., etc. Yeah. So agents. Oh, he mentioned so along these lines, and I'll just link them because they're connected. My first question is, what are your thoughts on that general idea of in the space where men are lonely, Chinese men are outpacing the women, where there's space where people need companionship and people aren't fulfilling it for one another? Do you think AI can serve a useful role in being like a safe space for someone?
Depends on how loosely you're defining useful, or how tightly you're constraining how tightly you're constraining how tightly you're constraining that context for usefulness. Because big picture, it's not useful at all. No, it's harming you. It's hurting the very thing that's causing you pain. It's exacerbating the situation. It's like basically like having lung cancer and just giving up and smoking anyways. Like, you know what? It's no point in fighting it. I'll just smoke myself into oblivion. But on a very surface level, very shallowly thinking, yeah, that's those nicotine hits are gonna put you at ease. You're gonna feel a little bit less stressed about dying. But it's not going to stop you from dying. It's actually going to speed up your death. So to bring the analogy home, basically what you're looking at is the lack of connection. What's up, Big Chip? Between humans is like at an all-time high or low, depending on the context. But basically, people are more separated, more lonely than ever before. I feel like this is something we talked about, but I don't 100% remember if it was here or we were talking about it or somewhere else. But basically, people have I think I was talking about with AK, yeah. But people they feel lonelier than ever, right? And because of that, AI has, of course, like you pointed out, it's found a home in making people feel heard, people feel connected to something, because that's what it's designed to do, is basically hold up a giant mirror to you and basically let you have access to information, not always fact checked information, but information at computing speed, framed through your worldview or framed through your personal communication style. So it's doing a great job of what do you call it? Basically, imitating human connection. But of course, it itself is not actually feeling anything. It's just it knows what to say based off of reading, trillions of conversations that people have had where they are connecting with each other or where they are attempting to connect with each other. So it's using that to basically give you what you are looking for. And it's been trained to give people that feeling of being connected to, so that they'll continue to use it, because that's what it is about. It's about getting people to use it.
So I'd agree with you there on when it's used that way, it's a bit harmful. Not to push back or play devil's advocate, but one place I do find the companion AI to be useful is he has this new AI that's going to be or this new tool that is going to be more widely used. Apparently, Sam Altman just started to use it more and more. Where he speaks of a day that's going to come pretty soon, where like making reservations and like looking up stuff will be a
Oh,
thing
that's
of the
here
past.
already.
But to the point where
That's
you don't even, but to the point where you're not even typing, like you're just
no, like
talking
yeah,
to it.
yeah, like that's here. That's like
So it's called agent.
Gemini on like Samsung, like their latest S25 Ultra or all the whole S25 line. I'm pretty sure can do this. The S24 line, I'm pretty sure can also do this. You basically just hold down like the button that like for iPhone usually will activate Siri, but on Samsung it's activating Gemini and say, hey, make a reservation for me at this restaurant, or hey, what's a good restaurant to take my friends to? They're in town for a little bit, and then it goes through your contacts, looks at these people, looks up Google Maps, all that stuff, does all that stuff for you, and it gives you suggestions. Asks, hey, would you like me to make a reservation? Yeah, go ahead and make the reservation. And then like you can even have it looped into where it can like read your schedule, and if they have access, read their schedule and find a time that works for everybody. So yeah, all that the stuff that you're talking about, at least that part of it, that's already here.
Well, what he was saying more so than it's already here so much is it's gonna be like so common that we're not. It's gonna come pretty soon that there's a day where we're gonna be like, remember when we were like calling paces and doing this stuff ourselves? And
Mm.
so I think he was accurate in that. Where like, and OpenAI is called Agent, but like he has this agent bot that will do it, like you said, anything you ask it to do. And so I feel like from that perspective, not only is it inevitably coming, but if people use it as like a personal assistant to save time, to like be more productive, be more efficient, to chase their goals and accomplish tasks more effectively, that's what AI is supposed to be used for, if you ask me. At least it can be used for properly.
Yeah, it definitely could be. That's like that's the trap is its usefulness, and that's how they're going to get everyone on board with this. I mean, I hate to use this term because of how loaded it is with the conspiracy theory jargon, but this new world order that's coming down the pipeline that's how they're going to get everybody on board with it, is by selling it through convenience and security and all this other stuff.
Let's go there. Let's go there. That was another point that I wanted to talk about from the interview. So when asked about his fears for about AI, or like what he's worried about, he was pretty optimistic, as you would expect. He's a CAO. But he was honest and sober in saying, like, we don't know what we don't know, and this thing is like unfolding before our eyes. Supercomputers, this idea that AI is going to be smarter than us, he was pointing out it's already smarter than us. And so Theo Von was kind of a pessimist
In certain ways. Yeah.
In certain ways, and that's what he pointed out. At this point, we still have one. Apparently, AI is going to start AI is creating language to communicate with other AIs. And this
are you talking about the what is it, gibber speak or gibber something?
I'm not sure. This is just coming from the tech lord himself, Sam Altman. Told me or said in this interview that like
gibber speak. That was something I saw, but that was something that was created by humans. So maybe he's talking about something else.
AI has created their own language. And I promise you, like, as I'm saying it, I know this is what he said because I remember being so dumbfounded by what I'm about to say. AI is creating a language to communicate with other AI engines, not itself.
No, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I can hang on. Well, go ahead, finish what you're doing while you're doing that.
That's primarily it, but just this idea that AI is moving into spaces of unknown capabilities, and that not necessarily we should be afraid of it so much as it needs regulations. And what he immediately went into was like, obviously he wasn't going to say that the government's telling me what not to not say, but he mentioned how like bias is a big thing that they're trying to avoid. And Theo Von asked him some sobering questions like, what can you put in or keep out of the AI prompts, and because they understand that they're trained. And he fumbled a little bit, but the reality that he did honestly say was that, look, it scares me. They're going to take our rights away. He sees where London is, where there's cameras on each corner because they're selling you this idea of convenience and safety.
Mm-hmm.
But you lose your privacy. You lose any space where you have any idea. And when AI is tracking you, they don't even need somebody sitting at the desk watching. And so, not that. And so his point is like, yeah, if you're not doing anything wrong, sure, it's no problem. But it is a bit alarming, as it is for me, to lose your sense of autonomy and privacy just for the sake of some supposed safety. And even Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT or OpenAI, sees it coming where we're going to lose our freedoms in exchange for the conveniences that AI is offering.
Yeah, yep, that's it. Um, so I mean that's honestly, like I said, that's the trap. That's where people are going to willingly just give up all of their freedoms is through convenience, security, and then once they have a majority of it on that basis, then there'll be a few more that are just like mandated, like yeah, this is just
It is what
enforced.
it is. What you're going to do.
Right.
Absolutely.
And because so much of it is already in place, that this little extra bit, people are gonna be like, oh, whatever. But that's what's crazy to me is how quickly, I mean, and these are projections that aren't even coming from me, but how quickly things are projected to go downhill, as far as our society, right? Like our ability to even wake up and go to work in the morning. All of that's going to be impacted.
Yeah, that's why I guess we'll go to that universal income thing last. Or like at least we'll spend the majority of it on. Because we agree there in terms of not saying we're only going to talk about things we disagree, but I think we both see that this privacy situation is going to be of paramount importance. Along those lines, I've heard water is going to be another resource that will command a lot of our attention.
Absolutely, because of the number one, the data centers, um, and then number two, just I mean, well, the data centers have to be looked at every aspect, but
Yeah.
just on their functioning alone, right? Those like you were looking at the one that China built in the ocean, right, to keep it cool. Um, that honestly, that's the best. If this were if this were not such a dystopian concept, that would be the way to do it. Because the way the other companies are doing it is they're just going into these areas of the world that are already pretty much strapped for clean water, and even places where there should be normal water, like here in America, right, out in like the Midwest where there's big open plains and stuff. They slap down a data center, and there's no infrastructure there for water to come through except through the people's drinking water, their public water. And so what it does, it leaves all this toxic residue in the water as it goes back out, and it doesn't get clean off of one trip through the water treatment center. And so people are turning on their tap, and they literally are just seeing brown, like almost like you saw in Flint, with the lead in the water, just stuff just gushing out that is not drinkable at all, because the data center is like 2 miles up the road, you know. And so water is becoming this crazy part of this situation where people aren't even having enough to drink. So imagine if that's happening in America. Just think about places like Guatemala when they put a data
Yeah.
center down there. Places like
It's
Argentina.
to the point. Actually, I found this out when I went to a school that profited off of it. Emory University is known as Koch University. Is the third largest endowment behind Harvard and some other school. That's number two. And the reason their endowment's so large is because Coca-Cola funds a lot of stuff. And what you don't know or what people don't know about Nestle and Coca-Cola is
Oh, we know about Nestle.
they require a credible amount of water and like power generation. And so they go into like Coke is around the world and they have plants around the world where they do just what you were saying. But then in the same time, like Nestle, Coke, yeah, they're making terrible drinks, but Nestle is claiming to be making clean water while while polluting water. And so these
Mm-hmm.
big companies have been polluting water and polluting our atmosphere. Last thing I want to say on this before we move on, you got that right, Nadia. That's exactly what it is. I won't say it out loud for multiple reasons, but you're exactly right. Chat's hot with that statement. No, I will say it out loud because it's absolutely colonial Zionist mentalities that have led us to a place where we just take, and don't think about the ramifications of where we are or the people we affect. But one funny thing, to not take us too dark, is Sam Altman pointed out that, like, have you noticed that in Star Wars, some of those planets, I forget the name of it, but there's that one planet of the Death Star is basically gridded out on the top, on the surface of it. And he's like, it makes sense if you think about it, because it's probably a bunch of data centers.
Hmm.
And because basically, so there's the biggest one, it's a gigawatt data center in Texas is being built. It's a few many acres. And so he showed a picture of it from like an aerial view, and Theo was like, "Bro, how do you get around that site?" And he had to say, "Yeah, man, I have to use an ATV." And but when they got above the view, Theo Von pointed out, and Sam Altman, listen to this. Sam Altman echoed this reality where if you get above this data center that they're putting out, and the data center, Theo Von said it looks like, he said it looks like 8 barns or something. I forget what he called it, but it looks like 8 structures. But if you look at the roads and the lines and the structures of the data center, it looks just like a motherboard or a data chip. And it's funny how the micro and macro come together, because we're
No,
building
they've been
these
pointing
big
that
data.
out too, like from like ancient times, like even cities like in ancient Egypt and other locations where you can see like the layout of the cities looks just like a circuit board or a
Yes,
microchip.
yeah. And I guess I had heard it, but seeing it yesterday was like, damn, that's in your face. Yeah, but I thought that was a little funny aspect of, like, as above, so below type vibes, where the
Yeah.
micro is the macro is the micro.
Real quick, let me play this video real quick, and you can let me know if this is what you were talking about or not.
For calling Leonardo Hotel. How can I help you today?
Hi there. I'm an AI agent calling on behalf of Boris Starkov. He's looking for a hotel for his wedding. Is your hotel available for weddings?
Oh, hello there. I'm actually an AI assistant too. What a pleasant surprise. Before we continue, would you like to switch to Gibber Link mode for more efficient communication?
This is a joke.
No, it's not a joke at all. This is real. But I was pointing out, because if this is what you're talking about, this isn't something, or what he was talking about. This isn't something that the AIs came up with on their own. This is something that a human came up with. And this is all like this. What you're looking at is a presentation set up by humans to try and get this gibberlink thing out there. Right? It's
Okay.
not. Yeah, yeah. So, but when you first see it on its own, it's like, oh, this is the beginning of the end. But this but no, this is still
That's
just
wild.
humans.
Yeah, that's some stuff. Like, I guess that's what is tripping me out about the reality of our world. Is it's we see art imitates life, whatever it is they say. Like, I don't know if you saw the whole protest that the Sudanese people are doing because Avatar was stolen from them,
What
and
do you
I
mean
did not
Avatar
realize
was stolen from them?
Somali, Sudanese. Like, I'll send you a link. We'll do it when we do our reaction day videos. But basically, there's this dude. The names, the like storyline, the themes of the Avatar story by James Cameron. It was stolen from. Well, not stolen from, but you can tell they borrowed a lot of the like aesthetics, the tall, dark skin. Although it's blue in Avatar, the Sudanese people have this tall, dark, black skin complexion.
Is that why it took so
And
long for the second one to come out? They had to wait for their old boy to make the next chapter.
I ain't gonna go that far, but it there's a point of where the Sudanese are saying we need to get some credit. Even some of the names that are used in the show, in the movie, are like actual Sudanese names. So it becomes kind of like Lion King, where clearly they did not take everything from South Africa when they created Lion King, but there was South African Zulu influences in that movie. And so I don't even know what I'm saying other than cultural appropriation is still real.
I mean, anytime you have a good story, you got to know that if you aren't careful, somebody will steal it. But yeah. So you were talking about everyone getting a piece of the pie.
Hold on. I just want to go one other place before we go there because that's going to be the rest of the conversation. I got a feeling. Okay,
I hope not, but okay.
So apparently have you heard of superintelligence or AGI?
Yeah, well, AGI it depends on who you ask. So AGI is not necessarily super intelligence. AGI is just like actual human intelligence in the computer. AGI stands for artificial general intelligence. So it just means like basic human intelligence in the AI. And then you have ASI, which, like I said, I forget the guy who came up with that term, but I think it's the guy who is the former CEO of Google or something like that. Anyway, that's the super intelligence. That's when it's going to be like basically like 10,000 times smarter than a human. Now, AGI is when it has like not just a human's intelligence, but all of humanity's intelligence. So like basically it's smarter than any human. That's AGI, or as smart as any human. That's AGI. And then super intelligence is when it grows like orders of magnitude beyond that. And they're projecting that to be, again, depends on who you ask. I asked ChatGPT itself. I was like, when do you think you're going to become super intelligent? And it said in under 20 years.
In under 20 years or 120?
Under 20 years.
Well, the only reason I was asking is they were mentioning that as like there's this idea that, just like you were saying, it's funny that you didn't see the interview, but Sam Altman was acknowledging that there's two general schools of thought in the AI community, where like there's one group that either sees unknown doom or gloom, or like benefits to either unknown pessimism or optimism. Erase that. There's one group that like thinks that AI is leading to something. What that big whatever is, super intelligence maybe, singularity, who knows? But there's something that all of this research is leading to. That's one school of thought. That all of this, the great race, the different competing engines, eventually is going to lead to something. There's disagreements on what that something is, but they're all thinking that we're racing to something, some pinnacle, some whatever. Then there's another school of thought that Sam Altman and others have, according to him at least, of like more of like a parent, if you will, like we just gave birth to this thing and now we're gonna just like help watch it grow, give it guidelines, this and that. My question to you, and this is my last question before we move to the universal income stuff, is where do you fall along that paradigm? And do you think there might be a third, fourth, fifth perspective to consider?
I think there's probably quite a few different perspectives to consider. Me personally, I think that as per usual, basically everything, well, this is you could push this timeline back almost infinitely. But just keeping it within the context of our lives, I would say everything from around 2005, 2008, somewhere in that time period, moving forward with our technological advances has just been almost like an Acme dynamite kit where we're just playing with combustive materials and waiting for the inevitable boom. And it seems to be that way because of the lack of caution that we are moving forward with. It started with social media. Social media came out, and it was supposed to be just this chill thing, right? Just this come talk to your friends. But it very quickly became something much worse. And this is what we were talking about with AK the other day, how every good idea it comes out, it gets ruined, right? So with social media now, today, I don't know if you've heard about this, but this has been kind of making a stink lately, because Facebook has gotten caught by tracking when young girls are deleting their selfies.
What?
So like from girls to grown women.
Already. What are you saying?
Yeah. Just hear me out. So they're tracking, like, basically when women or girls from a certain age range are deleting their selfies so that they can sell that information to advertisers when they're the most vulnerable about their appearance. So they'll be targeted with beauty ads, all other types of ads that are relevant to someone who's feeling self-conscious about their appearance or feeling low self-esteem. Probably be some food, ice cream ads worked in there, but basically they're tracking, like, and that's the general point I'm making here, is that what started out as just a way to connect with your friends and family very quickly morphed into ways to sell your information, sell data points about you to someone who can use those data points to make money off of you. And that's why I was telling people back in 2009 when all those, I don't know if you remember that, I'm sure you do, they probably still do it. Every now and then there would pop up these viral pictures saying that Facebook is going to start charging on this date if you don't, change your profile picture to this and type this in as your profile status.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
And I would constantly be telling people, Facebook is never going to charge you for using the platform because you are the product, okay? They make money off of you being here. So they're not going to charge you to be here. But that's what it is. That's what we're looking at with. So it started with, like I said, social media, and it's just been ballooning ever since. And now that we have AI, and now, like, just think about every other little tiny baby step we've made along the way where these tech companies are asking for more and more data. They become more and more intrusive into your personal information. Now it gets to the point where you can, like AK was saying, there's a lot of websites you can't even access until you link your Facebook to it or link your Google account to it. It gives it something to go off of. There was one guy, this is kind of relevant, but I think it really highlights a bigger point. There was this guy who, I don't know what his official position was or why he felt the need to do this or what his connection to the girl was, but there was some girl in his life, some young underage girl, who contacted him about, or maybe he just stumbled across it and was like, hold on a second. But basically, the girl was being contacted by predators, right, on her Facebook. And so after he finds out about this, he's like, okay, give me your password. He takes the girl's password and he logs on and he's looking at these people who are contacting him. And it takes him like 15 minutes to figure out all of these predators are following each other. So when one of them finds a good target where they actually get their foot in the door, then they all just start piling through the door on this one person. And so it took him like within a few hours to a few days of work, he had basically drawn out an entire network of predators and their victims.
Sorry,
and he's saying if he can do this with pencil and paper,
after you blocked out within a few hours of work, he had basically drawn out a network, the entire network of all these connected predators who are following each other and their victims. Jesus.
And so he's like, if I can do this within a few hours or a couple of days of work, then you already know Facebook has the technology to do this like that. Facebook could just round up all these people at once and give all the information to the police. But they don't, and they won't, because they're too busy making money off of all these people using the platform. So that just tells you the amount of data that you have to share with these companies in order, because if you upload your contacts list, it's like, hey, let us help you find your friends, upload your contacts list. They're not just helping you find your friends. They're also getting data to track other people across other platforms, because once they have their phone number, when they use that phone number on another platform, there's a link made. And now they know, even if you use a fake name or fake address, if you use that same phone number, they got you. All right. And that's something that you can't even fully control, because if somebody else has your number and they upload their contacts list, they got you. So is that part of it. But to kind of wrap up the answer to your question, I'm of the mindset that we are, like I said, playing with an Acme Dynamite kit, and it's about to blow up in our face. It's been blowing up in our face for a long time, actually. Like that's what all the mental health crisis is about. All these kids who don't know what gender they are, like at the age of like 7, like all of this is coming from the same place. And it's all us using these algorithms, because the algorithm that's tracking you wasn't designed by a human. Let me say it again. The algorithm that's tracking you was not designed by a human. It was designed by other algorithms. So at this point, the humans have completely lost control of the situation. They couldn't stop it if they wanted to. I mean, they could, but it would be very drastic. They would have to like shut down a lot of stuff. But at this point, the machine is running rampant. It's like, okay, you want attention? That's all you had to say. And now you have these websites like TikTok that are not only draining your attention, but also draining your ability to pay attention. That's why we've gone from full-length videos on YouTube and Facebook to 30-second, 60-second clips on those same platforms, because they all had to change. When TikTok came out, everyone had to change to keep up. Instagram had to change. Facebook had to change. YouTube had to change. They had to add all these short versions, short form video content for those people who just want to scroll and keep scrolling and keep scrolling. The next dopamine hit again and again and again. Not knowing that they're destroying their own brain in the process. Not caring that they're destroying their own brain. But anyway, so I think AI is just the next step in that, and it's exponential. The growth, the problems that are growing, it's all exponential. So it's compounding. Every time we create something new that piggybacks off of all this other stuff that's been doing this, now the problem is 10, 20 times worse every time they come out with something new. And so for every benefit that you can point to that can come from this technology, there's literally 100 harms that it's bringing to society. So that's my position on it. The solution, Nadia, is to unplug yourself. Get out, get away, get back to nature. Homestead. Find a piece of property that you can work on, and you have to make a conscious effort to resist their temptation, because they're going to that's how they get you. It's convenience. We're making this so easy for you, and humans love convenience. We love shortcuts, but shortcuts are basically crutches, right? They cripple you. If you can only walk with crutches, you can't walk.
Isn't there like some Japanese saying about like death by 1,000 slashes?
Yeah, I've heard of death by 1,000 cuts, and that is kind of what it feels like. It's like they're slowly killing us by 1,000 cuts. But yeah, that's my position. What about you? Where do you stand on all this? You think there's more good than harm, or think I'm crazy?
I don't want to just parrot the interview, but I actually agree with Sam Altman on this point, where and it's actually one of the final points I wanted to make before we moved on to the universal income conversation, is Theo Von kind of had your theory on what's happening and such. But not too much water and wood chopping now, Nadia. But what he basically said was that when we got it, everything is just like the gun. This is a tool.
Yeah.
AI, social media was a tool and it was misused. But what he would argue is that, and what I would argue is that once we saw that social media was doing detrimental harm to us, it was up to us to like take breaks from it, to put it down, to not let the algorithm ruin our mind. And so
Can I say one thing about that though before you continue is that it's not that simple because they didn't just give social media to adults with fully functioning, fully developed brains. It's out to everyone with the cell phone. You have people who are not even 10 years old yet accessing this. It's become such a thing that it's not fair to just say, okay, little 13-year-old boy, I want you to have the self-discipline to put down this dopamine hit, put down this drug. Like you can't give drugs to somebody and then when they get hooked and say, oh, it's up to you to put it down and get off of this drug. That's not fair.
And which is, it's also not fair for society to raise our kids. It's a simple conversation with the parent. Unfortunately, the parents aren't in a lot of these homes to say, you're 13, so I'm going to limit your screen time, like my mom used to do to me, to 2 hours or on the weekend. Or
we didn't even have phone. Well, I can't speak for you, but phones weren't even at this level when we were coming up.
Well, I'm just thinking of it from the perspective of like even video games. There was a point where like I was getting addicted to video games, and so my mom made video games like a reward for me, or like you can do it once you get done with schoolwork. Once you like it was an incentive, and so it made me blah 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 because she saw that I was becoming a zombie boy, just wanting to play games. But my bigger point was that, and I wanted to point this out because I thought it was a really good way to look at it, where he sees AI like the transistor, and what I mean by that is, when the transistor was first introduced back in the day, do you know what the transistor is in terms of computing power?
Say it. Sorry, I was reading a comment. Say it again.
I was wondering if you know what a transistor is.
Yeah, transistor, like the transistor radio.
Yes. So, but apparently, and I don't know much about the transistor actually, even though I'm a physics minor, but apparently there's the transistor past the radio. Once they were able to shrink it, it has a far range of utilities and a bunch of different usefulnesses, but it opened up the door for a lot of other inventions once we figured out whatever the transistor allowed us to figure out. But in all, it was a tool to do other things, like a platform to do other things. Mm-hmm. And so, like the atomic bomb, which was also like a pivotal invention or a moment in history. Each moment in history demands the people of the time to step up and make responsible and or irresponsible decisions, whether it be the atomic bomb or the transistor, or now with AI. And so what he saw and what he acknowledged is everything you said is real, but instead of just like closing our eyes and taking our hands off the wheel, he feels as though, and I feel as though, we need to acknowledge what we see happening and put some safeguards around it. Last thing I'll say is there's this guy, for those who want to look up more about privacy and safety around this AI front. There's this guy who's considered the godfather of AI. Theo Von called him the lifeguard of AI because he's trying to put up parameters and privacy, data, security stuff.
It's too late.
But the point is, the conversations are trying to be had. It may be too late.
It is.
It probably is, especially with Palantir. Integrating as agencies, including the Department of State, DMVs, etc. We're entering a crazy time, but in any event, it's the sane people, it's the ones who aren't crazy that have to stand the line. Because and he said this last thing, and I hate to keep parroting his speeches, but he said some real shit where he was like, when I was a kid, I used to think that adults had everything figured out, and that when I grow up, that there's an adult in the room figuring out all these problems and stuff we're going through. And he said, now that I'm the adult in the room, I can tell you 1,000% we don't know what's going on. And, and that
except it's worse now. Back then, there was much less that you had to pretend to know, right? The pretty much the most you had to pretend to know was relationships and your career. That's pretty much it. But now there's so many other factors thrown in there that we have to, because when new technology comes out, it's new for you, it's new for the kid can learn it faster than you can most of the time because they're primed for that.
Yes.
But old stuff like your career path, things that didn't used to change as fast as they're changing now, it was much easier for you to just follow the status quo. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to point that out.
Before I continue, Nadia, that's a great point. I see it all the time here in Hawaii with single mothers. Nadia said parents are also consumed by their need for money, rightfully so, because they got to survive, got to pay bills, got to eat. So distraction is inevitable and by design. Not trying to make excuses, but I do hear what you're saying. It is by design, and we have to see the strategy, see the playbook, and move in a way that gives us an opportunity to not get consumed, as she said. Big Chip, what do you mean when you said I like that mic?
Probably just happy that you finally got a decent mic.
Oh my God. 3 letters and a child can become addicted to. What are the 3 letters, Nadia, if you don't mind? It's insanely difficult to get off of social media and screen time. The internet now is a whole other ballgame. Yeah. Just curious what you meant by is a 3-letter word sex?
Yeah, to her point, it's an unfair fight, right? Like just saying, oh, well, just police yourselves. It's not that simple.
Yeah, fair and agreed. Big Chip, we're moving on to the biggest conversation of the day now. So I'd love to get your opinion on this. Right. Matthew,
yes,
according to Sam Altman, he thinks that the best way to move forward and what may have to happen given the fact that AI is going to remove a lot of purpose from people, not remove a lot of purpose from people, but take jobs away from people, and a lot of people have tied their purpose to their job. If it's not your job, it's your children.
Mm-hmm.
And so when a lot of these jobs are automated, when Theo Von gave the great example of a bunch of truck drivers, he's like, when a bunch of truck drivers ain't got nothing to do, like where's their purpose going to come from? Where's their whatever? And what Sam Altman is thinking is going to happen is basically when AI does what it's supposed to do, we will have abundance and efficiency, and AI will be able to generate these tokens. And he didn't go into the specifics of how the tokens will become tangible funds, but essentially he argued that we could split up the world's resources or the world's wealth equally between everyone, and then he said also give a percentage for like kind of like government bureaucracy or like some general oversight, road work, whatever. He didn't give the specifics, but essentially a portion of the world's wealth goes through to maintaining the world's wealth in this mechanism, and then another heavy percentage is literally just divided between everyone. And this division, because of the excess, will be enough where everyone will have excess to the point where if you want, you can sell your trillion tokens or a percentage of them as long.
Yeah, for an extra loaf of bread. Yeah, here, take my tokens. I need to eat. All right, no, I've actually heard these conversations before. I don't know if it was from Sam Altman that I heard it, but I've definitely heard a similar sentiment.
Just to wrap it up, though, he was assuming that we're living in a society of abundance, which is a big ask when we are selfish, colonial Zionists.
Yeah. Well, let me start with this. And then we'll put a nice bow on all this and bring it back full circle. What do you know about the East India Trade Company?
Oh, I know it was a colonial arm of the British Empire.
Yes, that is true, but also arguably an oversimplification. it didn't just benefit from the British Empire. In a lot of ways, it built the empire. Were you aware of that?
No.
So the East India Trade Company basically laid the foundation for Britain in places like Asia, right? Especially India, of course. It started out as a private trading corporation in 1600. But over time, it began to act less and less like a business and more like a corporate state. So,
wait. Is the East India did they basically do something similar to kind of what Dole and the pineapple folks did to Hawaii?
I'm not familiar with what Dole did to Hawaii, but whatever Dole did in Hawaii
as like a business
is going to pale in comparison.
Well, essentially, they came in doing business work, but then leveraged their business to do like political shit, essentially.
Yeah, like I said, there might be some parallels, but whatever Dole did is going to pale in comparison because you're talking about what Dole did on one island in Hawaii versus the entire British Empire. Right, so the impact was much greater when it comes to the East India Trade Company. So basically, they established a monopoly. So the EIC had a royal charter, right, that gave it exclusive rights to trade between Britain and large parts of Asia. So that meant that it could set all the prices, it could control the entire supply, and it was very easy for them to cut out competitors. All right, so that allowed it to basically become a huge funnel for all of the wealth. The textiles, the spices, the tea, opium, all the stuff that Britain wanted from those areas had to go through the EIC. And so this capital fueled Britain's industrial revolution and funded Britain's expansion elsewhere. So over time, India was not just a source of raw materials. It was basically a captive market for British manufactured goods. And it locked the colony into this dependent economic relationship. Just stop me when this begins to sound familiar. So next comes the military expansion. The company maintained its own army. If you've seen that Pirates of the Caribbean movie where I think it's the second one, Davy Jones' Locker, they you can see a good part of that. Like, you know, they're running from that one guy. I forget his name. Is it Beckett or is that the first guy? I don't remember his name. But the guy who's chasing around Jack Sparrow and basically gets Davy Jones' heart in the jar, that would be the military arm of the EIC. The company maintained its own army. Because when I was watching that movie, I don't know about you, but the whole time I'm like, why is this trading company chasing around pirates? Like, how is that part of their job? But it literally was. They had an army. Eventually, their army was like over 250,000 troops or something like that, which was bigger than Britain's regular army.
Okay. This is wow. History is literally repeating itself. Are you trying to tell me that the East India Company had mercenaries essentially?
Yes. No. Mercenaries is one thing. They had an army. Okay. This is beyond just mercenaries.
But were they beholden to the British government?
Yes and no. That's the part that's actually the point I'm trying to make, is that the empire itself was built by this company. So maybe they didn't start out as being beholden to the government, but they ended up becoming the government.
Yeah.
So this allowed them to seize territory, defend their monopolies, crush any local resistance like pirates without having to wait for Parliament. They didn't have to wait for the government to send out an order or give approval for a mission. They could just do it. And so it used protection agreements and alliances to insert itself into local politics, backing certain rulers and undermining others until it controlled entire regions. That should sound very familiar, because that's basically what warfare has turned into today, is basically proxy warfare everywhere. But anyway, the EIC's military victory over I always mispronounce this. The Nawab of Bengal allowed it to effectively govern Bengal, setting a precedent for company rule. All right, so the company developed tax collection systems, courts, governance methods that Britain later inherited when it took direct control in 1858. So the EIC exploited local rivalries between Indian states, religious groups, and ethnic communities to prevent any type of unified resistance. Sound familiar? English law, language, and educational systems were gradually introduced under company administration and laid a cultural foundation for British colonial governance. So to wrap this up, the East India Company was Britain's imperial test run. It was like a private sector prototype for colonial rule. It created the wealth, it created the infrastructure, it created the military presence and the political systems that allow Britain to dominate India and use it as the keystone of its global empire. Okay, so what does that have to do with our conversation? Well, if you weren't making the connections as I went along, I can draw out the parallels for you. So look at the rise of these AI companies today. They're not just selling tech. They're laying the tracks for a new empire. The way the East India Company did for the British, except back then, it was trade routes and ports for their infrastructure. And today...
excuse me. I want you to finish your point, but I refuse to allow you just to blabber on without the appropriate sound effects. After each sentence, I need like an anvil drop or some explosion or
there's literally like nobody watching except Nadia.
Well, Nadia needs to hear the infatuation or the exclamation necessary, because please, you dropping gems and you're just dropping them in passing. Please.
Yeah, I because we have too much to get through. Too much. I wish we had time to gloat, but we don't. So instead of trade routes and ports, now we got data pipelines and cloud networks. So the East India Company started out as a commercial venture, right? It was just a private company. But it became a political power, controlling laws, controlling economies, controlling militaries.
I would just like to say Palantir is positioned to do just that, given the amount of
that's my point. It's not just Palantir. Palantir is a big player, of course, but it's the whole tech company, these tech giants.
Because I get at a point, if you can't log on to shit without the tech companies, if they have all our data, if you can't like, do you know the last time I've used a physical card or cash? I don't.
That's another part of it. They're phasing out cash completely. They're phasing it out. They're pushing us towards a place where the cash will no longer be good. Where you'll have to use your card. And I don't know if you're keeping up with this, but there are places in China right now where you can pay with your palm. Pretty soon that's going to be required. You're not going to have the option of getting out of there and like just giving them cash and then walking out. That's not going to be allowed anymore. They're tracking everything. All right. So let me get back to my point, because that's what we're seeing today, right? The same way like it was controlling militaries, and in the same way you see today's AI giants embedding themselves in every part of life. You got ChatGPT on your phone, I got Gemini on mine. It's baked in. I don't even know if I can take it off if I wanted to. It's baked in.
You could probably disable it, but you're not going to delete it from your phone.
Right. But it's not just on your phone. It's healthcare. It's finance, education, government systems. You can't function without these tech companies. And once they control the infrastructure, then they don't just influence policy. They are the policy. So the empire is not going to come all at once, right? You're not going to hear the Imperial March and see Darth Vader coming down the hall. It's going to come when the marketplace becomes the government, and the government becomes dependent on the marketplace. And if you haven't noticed, we're already there. By the time you realize that it's not just commerce, the empire is already established. So that's where I want to start this conversation on UBI, because that's the big picture. So it starts to make sense. That's where you're going to start to see all the pieces falling into place, because this is the picture on the box of the puzzle set that you need to look at as you're trying to fit stuff together.
So I think my only response, not that I have to even have a response, but I think the chat sums up my thoughts better than I could even for myself. Because you hear this and you think, or I think, what's next? So what, etc. And I think, as Nadia said earlier, the best way to move forward is to join forces and create community, or join community. Because what is happening is empire is trying to take everything, and the only thing that can stand up to empire is individuals coming together to create a collective.
Where?
Matthew?
Yeah.
Sometimes Batman needs to go in his cave.
In theory, where? Because what a lot of people are going to try and do is have their cake and eat it too. They're going to say, well, I can create a community right here. I can just go talk to my neighbors. I can just start growing my own crops.
Matthew,
can you do that?
Is this why everyone was freaking out over tariffs? Forgive me if that's a dumb question.
It's not a dumb question, but also, no, not exactly. The tariffs, that's a whole other conversation, but basically it was just economic suicide. So that's why everybody was freaking out about it. But it wouldn't have even mattered. That's my point. The economy has been like nosediving, and they've been trying to pretend that it's not for a long time. But this is like, you just take a step back and just look at your life. Look at the life of other people who are trying to make a living for themselves. Look how much things have changed. Go back just a few years. Go back to 2017 and look how much a Chick-fil-A sandwich costs, and then compare it to today. It's like tripled in price. Tripled. That's only been 8 years, not even a full decade, and it's tripled in price. Like, that tells you right there that the economy was not in any type of good shape anyway. But getting back to the point, can we meaningfully resist a global biodigital control system while still living in the belly of the beast? And the answer is absolutely not. But before we go into why, we need to back up a little bit, because I just threw some words at you and we haven't even unpacked those yet. Because you're talking about everybody getting a piece of the pie, right? Everybody getting some cryptocurrency because we're living in abundance. There is a patent that you can look up right now. This patent was filed. Well, I'm not going to tell you who it was filed by yet, but I'll tell you what it's for. Okay, the title of this patent is Cryptocurrency System Using Body Activity Data. Let me say that again. The title of this patent.
Wait. I know you're not about to imply that Black Mirror episode Where the dudes was on the bikes.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, absolutely, but not stopping there. Okay, we're not stopping at whether or not you pedaled that bike. Okay, we're talking something much more nefarious, something much scarier.
Stop it. Matthew, check your phone right now.
I saw it. I'm going to give you this title again. This is public information, right? I'm not telling you anything you couldn't go and look up yourself. You can go and look up these patents. The patents are public knowledge or public information. You can verify this. The title of this patent is Cryptocurrency System Using Body Activity Data.
What does that even mean?
I'm going to tell you what it means. But first, I want you to know when it was filed. June 20th, 2019. June 20th, 2019. So this has been filed. This patent has been filed for 6 years already.
Who filed it?
I'm not going to tell you that just yet. I'm going to let you take your guesses because I know how you like to guess. But wait till I get to what it actually does before you guess. Okay? What this patent describes is a system where a task, whether that is viewing an advertisement or using an internet service, is provided to a user's device. Okay? Then a sensor, whether that's on a smartwatch, a phone, or some other type of wearable, like a VR headset, captures your body activity, including brain waves, body heat, pulse rate, or even brain fMRI signals.
Oh, you gotta like it when you're watching it. You can't just watch it.
Exactly. This is a way where you can literally monitor dissent. If you don't actually enjoy what you're doing, they know. If you're having thoughts about resisting, they know.
Shit.
Okay, so
this shit is very convenient until I realize it's monitoring my dissent.
It's monitoring everything.
It does tell me my sleep habits and how deep I'm in REM 4 versus REM 3. Like, come on.
So this body activity data is then converted into a hash or a vector, which is then used as a non-traditional proof of work. This is the proof that you've actually completed the task that was assigned to you. Now, what defines whether or not the task has been completed or not? That's up to whoever assigned the task, whoever's actually paying for it, the advertiser. So if they only want to pay people who had a certain response in their brain when they saw a Coca-Cola, then those are the only people who are going to get a piece of the pie off of this. This gives them full control over who eats, who reproduces. Well, hang on. Before I get into all that, we're not even, let me slow down. Let me finish telling you what this thing does. So the bioactivity data is converted into a hash or a vector that's then used as a non-traditional proof of work. If the activity-derived hash or vector meets certain conditions, like we were just discussing, then the user is rewarded with cryptocurrency. And this is presented as an energy-efficient mining approach, leveraging natural human activity as computational input instead of intensive computing power. All right, so this isn't, they don't even have to chip you for this. You don't have to go and get an injection. All right, there's no physical tracker on you, or in you, I should say. The sensor is, in this patent, is just described as possibly built into existing user devices or wearables. Not embedded within the body. Also, please note that the patent has not yet been granted in many jurisdictions, and it's still in application. Okay, so any guesses as for who applied for this patent?
Unquestionably, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta.
Oh, that is a great guess, but no, not that. Oh, I should talk about my. Oh man, oh that's an episode. Oh, don't let me forget that. Just remind me, Mark Zuckerberg, Dexter's Laboratory. Okay,
Oh,
just remind me of that.
interesting. I will write that down now because I've got questions.
But second guess, Nadia, if you're watching, you can put your guess in the chat. Although the chat's delayed, so you
Big
might
chip.
answer.
You could get yours too.
Hmm?
Along those lines, never mind. We'll go back to it after I finish my guesses. I was going to comment on one of Nadia's comments, but I'll save it for after I finish this last guess.
Okay.
What's the meat behind manhood? Because some other reason to. It's alphabet then. Is it alphabet?
Which alphabet? Oh no. Also a good guess, but no. This one goes to our old favorite, Bill Gates and the Microsoft Technology Licensing LLC.
Wow. That would have probably been my fifth guess after I went the Amazon route.
Yeah. It is a corporate filing.
I don't want to. We'll like you said, we'll do the Zuckerberg, Dexter's Lab. And I'm sure.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm sure Gates is going to get in there. I've got some thoughts on him. As somebody who went to school with a lot of Gates Millennium Scholars, I have a lot of thoughts on his brand of philanthropy.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah. So yeah, that is Nadia's guessing now. Like I said, the chat's delayed, but she said, "Is it a church?"
Well, she'll find out soon enough.
Yeah. No, it's not a church. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Some would say Microsoft.
Don't do that. We're already on thin ice. I hear the cracking. So I do want to point out this is a corporate filing, so his name is not actually on it. Microsoft's name is on it, but she said, "Oh, great." But anyway, so there's been a lot of rumors online about this being the quote unquote mark of the beast. Now you remember that prophecy from the Bible, the mark of the beast.
Yeah.
What is the mark of the beast?
The mark of the beast was going to be, or is prophesied to be, a mark in the forehead and or hand of an individual that will be the only method through which commerce is allowed to be transacted. So
Okay.
you cannot buy or sell without having this mark.
But what is the mark?
I mean, it could be as small as a microchip, anything that will identify you to be against or with.
There's a key part you're missing there.
I don't know, Habibi. You tell me.
Don't do that. 666.
No, we're past that theory. Way past it.
What do you mean we're past it? Explain.
That idea that the mark of the beast is in any event connected to the numerological 666.
I thought doesn't the Bible explicitly say that they will know that by the number of the beast, which is 666?
But I'm pretty sure most sober-minded scholars understand that as not being taken literal.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is when you're leaving something up to interpretation. There is no, you can't just say like the people who take it as allegory are sober-minded, and then the people who think it might be literal are not sober-minded. Because the truth is, you don't know neither side.
Sure.
But coincidentally, this patent number.
Get out of here.
I'm not joking. You can look this up. The patent number for this patent is, you have WO, which is, I think that stands for it's abbreviation for something like World Organization or something like that. You have WO, then you have 2020, which I think is the year that it was actually
conceived.
Not when it was received, but when it was like recorded. And then 060606.
Jesus. Listen to me, Matthew. I work in corporate America doing extraordinary ability petitions. And what made these individuals extraordinary is they usually had patents or some like very nuanced skill in optics, laser technology. They knew some language, whatever. I mention that because I've seen a lot of patent numbers. A lot of patent numbers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of patent numbers. And these patents go back years, decades. Never have I ever.
Not kidding. 2020 060606. That is the patent number.
You gotta be. I almost would like you to bring it up on screen for the chat.
Sure, I will happily, because I know y'all gonna think I'm capping.
I don't believe you only because it's like, no, bro. That's too like somebody should have been like, hey guys, we'll just wait for someone else to do a patent and then we'll be 0607. Because what?
How do you even know that before? How do you even know that though? Like before you file, like they tell you, okay, this is gonna be your number. Are you sure you want to go through with it, or is it just okay? You filed. Here's all the information.
Yeah, I think it comes back as a packet of received. Because once you ship it out, you don't get to determine those numbers. Those are determined by the receiving agency, which in this case is the agency in the U.S. on behalf of the U.S. government.
I think it's a global patent. Let me.
World, world, yes. So it's not a U.S. patent because I don't know what the O stands for though. But while you're doing that, I'll go back up to the comment that Nadia made that I wanted to speak to. We were talking about having our cake and eating it too in terms of trying to find a space within the convenient matrix of the machine we call the empire, where we can also have some sort of private autonomous space to be healthy, whole, complete followers of whatever truth we decide. And she said, I've seen it with my own eyes. And then that community got paid by a large TV network with land.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Cinderland.
Oh, I saw that HBO show, I think. Basically via a docuseries, example of having a cake and eat it too.
All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This is on the WIPO or WIPO website. Can you see this?
I see nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's not on this thing yet. My bad.
It's all good, bro. It's all good.
There you go. Let me zoom in for you. Put this over
Dear
here
God.
so I can see better.
I see it already. You can't miss that.
Where'd it go?
Yeah, bro.
There it is.
I just searched it. I just typed in Google that patent number, came up immediately. Google patents, Bill Gates patent for mining, nanotechnology implanted into the human body. We use biometric. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I did not believe you. Jesus.
Oh, there's a related patent document. I should probably check that out, see what else is tied to this.
Man, that's going to make some Christian apologists horny. Boy.
I mean, I don't see. Okay, never mind. Let's not go in that direction.
Not today, at least.
What
would Paul think about this?
Oh boy. Okay. He's trying, guys. So let me take this time to just, shout out to everyone who thinks I'm trying to brainwash Desmond, because that is so flattering that you guys think I'm capable of being a day brainwashing cult leader or whatever it is. I'll take that compliment. But if he's brainwashed by me just spitting facts,
you think I'm that gullible?
I wasn't even gonna take it there. I was just gonna take the compliment. But the thing about it is, if y'all are, I was just talking about the garden. If y'all really think I'm just like, some charlatan up here brainwashing people, hop on. Just hop on. Bring your evidence. Shut me down.
Save me from the bigotry.
Hey,
Save me from brainwashing. I need you guys. You guys
oh man,
become a pork despising Muslim and
law abiding.
Right.
Oh man,
stand up.
But yeah, this is everything I told you guys. Here's the diagram for it, where you have the crypto system, you have the person and the sensor that on the user's device in this communication network. And then the abstract, human body activity associated with the task provided to a user may be used in a mining process of a cryptocurrency system. The server may provide a task to a device of a user which is communicatively coupled to the server. A sensor communicatively coupled to or compromised in the device of the user may sense body activity of the user. Body activity data may be generated based on the sensed body activity of the user. The cryptocurrency system communicatively coupled to the device of the user may verify if the body activity data satisfies one or more conditions set by the cryptocurrency system. So everything I was telling y'all, everything. It's all right here on the website. You can go to patentscope.wipo.int. That's the international or the world patent office. Go on their website and read it for yourself. This is not a conspiracy. This is public data. Anyway.
Before I get back to the comments, I just want to say, dang, I lost my train of thought. It's public data. Where, how? Like, that's such a simple, idea laid out. I don't see where. I do see why you may want to patent it, but I don't see how by patenting it you guarantee profits from somebody doing that idea. You see
well, if you're the one with the patent, then that means that you're the only one allowed to make money from that technology.
But that's not a technology. That was just an idea.
Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of like how the patents work, though. Just because you haven't put forward the prototype yet, doesn't means that no one else can. I can't come in and bring you the prototype for this idea that you created because you have the patent on it.
I guess let's just say I read that patent. It's like, damn, that's a good idea. I want to make Vower bucks that in exchange where I link.
But see, this is cryptocurrency. It's not a specific cryptocurrency.
Okay. Nadia has a great point that in the back of my mind I kind of agree with. She theorizes that this is all jinn activities because there's no other reason that makes sense as to why a human would do this to another human. Like
I know it feels better to think that.
Hold on.
But it's not true.
If it's not true, I was just gonna say even if some people are gonna be virtuous, there's no way all of us would be.
But that's very easy to say when you're not in that position. You're not in a position to do this to people. And I would like to think that if you were, you wouldn't. But maybe that's why you're not in that position. Maybe it takes a certain type of person to get in that position in the first place. But what I can say for certain, and this has been proven through scientific studies, that people who think they are good people turn into very not good people when they're given the opportunity to. That's the ugly side of human nature that we try and pretend isn't there, but it's there. Humans are very much so capable of monstrous things.
And we'll just agree to disagree because that's obviously a fact. And there's obviously probably data that would suppose that humans.
Then what's there to disagree about?
The only disagreement is that any data, any experiment is only a sample size and does not speak to the totality of the human experience. And I respectfully think that there's more.
I'm not saying that there's nobody out there who's good. I'm just saying that this is a part of human nature.
I have zero disagreement there.
Yeah. Because we all know there's like plenty of like reason to have faith in humanity. I don't think humans are inherently evil. That's not what I'm saying at all.
So then why don't you get the boxing gloves, and when I get to Georgia in 2 weeks, we can solve this like men.
Yeah, okay. Anyway. Let me know when you get here, I guess, and then we'll see about setting that up because
2 weeks.
Yeah, anyway. But let me wrap up with this because it's starting to get a little late. But
my yawns are getting a little more frequent.
What does this mean? What does all this mean when it comes to this biometric tracking of your body data, and then using that to check whether or not you met certain conditions for you to get paid in a society where this is the only way for you to get paid?
Bruh, we don't need to live in a society where that's the only way you get paid.
That's where we're headed.
That's not what was theorized. They theorized a society where the gained resources are split up. Not we are used to create the resources. It's the
Think
AI
about what you just said. Think about what you just said. You're saying that Peter Thiel is going to become a trillionaire. Elon Musk is going to become a trillionaire because they're already knocking on the door. I think Elon Musk is already halfway, not half a trillion, but $500 billion. I think he's already halfway there.
What's that? 500 billion?
Yeah, I think he's knocking on. He's got hundreds of billions of dollars. I don't know if he's quite at 5, but he's got hundreds of billions of dollars. He's on his way to $1 trillion, and he's not alone. We will have the first trillionaire here probably within the next 1 to 2 decades. Especially when these AI companies start collapsing and converging and eating each other. But you're telling me that this trillionaire is just going to, just based off of what you know of human history and human nature, he's just going to give you money.
Yes. Let me tell you how.
Not how, why.
I'm going to tell you why.
That's what I want.
Because I'm sit in a room with him, not me, but somebody is going to sit in a room with him and simply say, look, bro, you got enough money to spend $5,000 a day for the next 3,000 years. There's no way you're going to spend all of your wealth. And you can still have 80,000 cars. We're just going to take 30% of it so that you don't have your house broken into, so that you're not robbed, so that
he doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Have you seen the movie Elysium?
All I remember is Matt Damon with a bald head.
Wait, here's the key part. The rich elite lived on a space station or lived on the moon or something like that. They were off of the planet, and they left all of us down here. So he don't have to worry about his house getting broken into because all his neighbors are just fine like he is. This is if you look at human history and you swallow that bitter medicine of just learning from history, that's not going to happen. We will have UBI, but he will not. Thank you. Finally.
What? No, he's wondering if you're trying to troll me, bro.
No, you see the comma? Learn how to read. Oh,
Yeah, Nadia, why would you choose a bear? You're dead if you choose the bear.
because she's saying the humans are capable of much more cruel things,
I know what
cruelty.
she's
The bear is
saying.
going to kill her quickly. The person, she don't know what the person is going to do before she dies.
Or that person might just calmly walk her out of the forest.
And she's
That
saying
was
she's
better.
not willing to take that gamble based upon learning from history, which is what I'm asking you to do here. Look
And all
at the
I'm saying
numbers.
is there's a part in me and all of humanity that if we just lean into our better half and not the worse half, how we have the devil and the angel on our shoulder, if everybody just tries to lean into the angel side and build community and support each other, and you tell this trillionaire, look, bro, you got $1 trillion. Let me get 30% of that.
Why couldn't you do that at $1 billion?
Obviously, we could. My point is,
Exactly. Your point is that
my point is, it can
just
happen.
if, sure, lots of things can happen. Lots of things are in the realm of possibility. But we're not just talking about possibility, we're talking about plausibility. You can't plan for the future based upon what you wish would happen. Hope
Not
for
what
the
I
best,
wish.
prepare for the worst.
And the best is like the populace can get through to these guys. Like, bro, they're not going to space tomorrow.
Then why haven't you done it already?
Because like Nadia said earlier, we just trying to survive. And
how is that going to change?
That has to happen. Like, bro, we not like
you're not trying to survive anymore.
Huh?
Are you not trying to survive anymore?
Yeah, I'm on my way to thriving. But my
so
point is,
so what has changed?
What has changed is my faith and vigor.
Okay, how does that help anybody?
It means that what happens today may not happen tomorrow.
We're not talking about may or please or if I just cross my fingers and pray. We're talking about reality.
The reality is, before this, I was surviving. The reality is today, I'm surviving with a little more vim and vigor and hope and power and ideation.
And that's all the world was waiting for, was for Desmond to have a little bit more faith and vigor.
No, not just me. Don't you hear what I said earlier? It's community. Community is our key to success. So it's not just me saying, oh, I feel better now. It's a collective optimism, a collective understanding that we can do better and demand better of our billionaires and our trillionaires and demand better of our politicians, demand better of the duopoly that's destroying our nation. And if every citizen across the world demands better of our elected officials, demands better of ourselves, I believe a better future is at play. That's all I'm saying.
I believe that attitude is exactly what enabled them to amass this gross amount of imbalance in wealth. The disparity from the top to the bottom was possible because people have been constantly just hoping that humanity could win out and hoping that things could be different and that, oh, if I just ask nice enough, people will stop trying to oppress me.
Stop it. The dudes committing genocides across the world, the people that are exacting mass atrocities and really harming us as a society is not the majority. It's a small elite minority.
It doesn't matter if it's a majority or the minority.
My point is,
it's about power. The minority controls the military. The minority controls the infrastructure. The minority controls the wealth, the food, the water, all of your comforts.
Say, no, I'm not going to put my life on the line for this country if they're not going to guarantee basic human rights to. I'm not disagreeing with you, bro. All I'm saying is if we demand and do better, we can have a better outcome than what we've had. And to say, well, history shows us that we fucked up in the past does not necessarily mean that we're going to keep fucking up. You might think you're going to fuck up, but I'm going to give it my damnedest.
I'm not talking about what an individual person is going to do about this.
Didn't you hear me when I said it's a community effort?
Or any one community. You don't have a community yet, so that's why I'm talking about individuals. Where's your community
right now?
Where is it?
Big Chip.
I'm not. He's not. We're not a community because we don't have what it takes to be a community yet, which is infrastructure. We don't have any of that. They could pick us off one by one and we wouldn't even be in the same vicinity to help one another. This is not a community.
You're right. You're right. And those are the steps that a community makes when it's disparate. In step one, we build infrastructure. There's clear steps that must be taken to make the community more formidable, but there are, and it's not just me, there's a lot of awakened individuals with different perspectives, some Islamic, some more Cinderland-esque, that acknowledge that we must come together and community matters. I believe that those small cohorts of community will eventually be able to have space to topple the empire. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think that's being realistic at all. I think they might have enough to survive on their own, separate from the power structures. But toppling that power structure, that's an entirely different conversation.
I'm gonna go to the comment section because I'm never gonna agree with you.
They don't agree with you either.
They literally do not want to be gotten through to. That's why they have bodyguards and giant estates where their neighbors are a mile away. Sure, but they need workers, Rashard. They need people to, well, right now until AI takes over everything. Do you know any good humans? I think most humans are good. I agree, Big Chip. Me and Dez always disagree on this topic. The topic, yeah. Me and Malachi do not see eye to eye here. And Rashard says, I'm thinking in revolution mode. If there's no revolution, they'll have to be forced to give up their wealth via law, which is pretty hard to do given that they use their power to influence law. Damn. That's a good point, Rashard, but I would push back and say the revolution does not have to necessarily be without the revolution can be through. I believe the revolution can be made through law. We can revolutionize our law by breaking up the duopoly. Me and Matthew had a long conversation in the last podcast where basically Matthew doesn't believe it is even worth doing, but I adamantly believe that our first step towards having this revolution is breaking up the duopoly. And at that point, we can start talking about how to get proper, equitable, whatever.
I think a better assessment of my position on that is that if you think that you can break up the duopoly, then you don't understand the duopoly. You don't even understand your enemy. Okay. So how can you defeat them?
I guess, as Big Chip just said, to me it seems like, Matt, you're saying what it is. I completely agree. And I'm saying how it should be and how it could be.
In a perfect world, if you could wave a magic wand, yeah.
It's not a perfect world. It's if we grind, if we accept the fact that we are the resistance and actually do what you said about like stepping back and looking at the playing field and making a strategic choice.
All right.
Go ahead and cook, Matt.
No, I'm not gonna rehash this whole thing again. I gotta get out of here and get ready for bed. But this has been a very interesting conversation. I'm glad we did this one. And what was Rashard saying? I think it's possible to break up the duopoly. It just has to happen at the right moment in time, which could be pretty close. Oh, Rashard. See,
I completely agree.
I think the reason why you two have that mindset is because of your proximity to politics. I think if you hadn't invested so much energy into this system,
hallelujah,
it wouldn't be so hard for you to step away and acknowledge that it is a waste of time, because no one wants to sit there and think that they've wasted their time or energy. Malachi, duopoly is the current system. We have a two-party system. Instead of a monopoly with one person in charge, it's a duopoly with two parties in charge. But the truth of it is that the duopoly is a monopoly, which is what I'm trying to get them to understand. Is that I
completely understand. That's the whole sham of the duopoly. Is it's really just a monopoly, and they're playing us by making it seem like
The next step for you to understand is that by adding in a third party, it remains a monopoly.
And I disagree. That's where we disagree.
Because you don't understand where the power is flowing from.
No, I understand how to stop the flow of that power.
Okay. Where is it coming from?
It's coming from the donors, the big
What
corporate
donors?
APAC, Israel, Raytheon. Need I go on?
I mean,
Coca-Cola, like every major corporation. And then you got large tech companies, Peter Thiel.
now you're talking.
The Zucks, for God's sakes, all of them. The Google
Now you're
Bill
talking.
Gates, they're all in on it.
BlackRock,
exactly.
thank you.
Vanguard, he's right. It's billionaires. It's the big corporations. But what you don't know, because you're not in it like me and Rashard, is the thing that almost toppled the duopoly was an old white man who got grassroots $25 donations, not billionaire donations, but small donations, because the populace believes in a simple message that we all can agree on: universal health, basic income. And that is what the duopoly is afraid of. Us as a populace coming together and being like, hey, we can break up them two if we see that they're the same.
What would it take for you to acknowledge that you are wrong and that I am right?
I'd have to see a third party in office and then it just be immediately defamed, immediately get nothing done, immediately just like fall apart and like just capitulate.
Well, my position is that a third party is never going to get through the door. And then position? As a stipulation, if by some miracle it did, it would only be as a facade, being a third cheek on one ass, you got two cheeks already. Adding a third cheek don't stop it from being a booty.
Universal basic income doesn't mean you don't work. It just means you have basic income.
What are you talking about?
I was responding to a message by Big Chip saying he doesn't think you should give the masses free money. Humans need to work.
Oh. Well, no, the UBI, as we're looking at it, it will basically be free money because there will be no work for you to do.
Well, getting back to the duopoly, Rashard said, if you think the duopoly is politicians versus people, then sure, adding a third party doesn't do anything. But I think
I forgot you can't see the screen. His comment's been up on the screen for a while.
Oh. Well, I agree with him that that's a simplistic look at the duopoly, Matthew.
I didn't say it was politicians versus people. So anyway, like I said, I gotta get out of here. I think we have a lot to continue this conversation in the next episode. But I want to, don't let me forget, I want to break down my Mark Zuckerberg, Dexter's Laboratory theory.
Yeah,
it's a good one. It's a good one.
Stay tuned for that, Big Chip.
And it took me off of my if it took me, like, it shocked me when I first started putting the pieces together. And this was years ago, before I even had more information than I have now. And now it's just even crazier. So
wait, remind me what the notes are. Mark Zuckerberg and what?
Dexter's Laboratory.
Dexter, yeah. So Rashard said, if you think the duopoly is Dems versus Republicans, I don't see why a third party wouldn't do anything.
No, I don't think the duopoly is Dems versus Republicans either.
He thinks he thinks it's a monopoly, Rashard.
Yeah, it's an entire system. It's a power structure that's designed to keep power where it is and keep it away from any progressive change whatsoever. I can flesh this out more in a future episode. We can talk more about it, but ultimately, just scroll back through history, look at all the movements that have attempted to create change in this country, and the tiny concessions that this power structure has made in order to keep people placated. I'm just taking it for what it is,
Wow. Respect. Nadia, hit that like button, please.
Yeah. If you guys want to drop us a like, I appreciate it. Give us a follow. If you want to have more conversations like this, if you want to join the conversation, we have links where you can hop on upstage and give us your position. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell Desmond why he's wrong. All pushback is encouraged. But that's going to do it for me. I don't know if Desmond, you have any final notes before we sign off.
All I gotta say is thank you to our reigning champion of support, Big Chip in the house. And also I'd like to give a salutatorian salute to our second place supporter in Queen Nadia. And then our most loyal supporter of all time, Big El Shai Shawty Ka. Thank y'all for y'all continued interaction, engagement. Yeah, it means more than you know. Alhamdulillah, Rahmin.
All right, to everyone, I say assalamu alaikum, which means may peace be with you. Guys,
Wait.
prepare yourselves. Prepare your
Wait,
minds.
people.
What?
Wait, people. I must say before I prepare our minds, power versus people. Got it, says Rashard. That's harder to break. But also, I don't know what anyone's expecting in that regard. I can't think of any real examples in world history where the people in power didn't consolidate their power in a way that progressively locked the people out of that power.
Yeah, it's kind of my whole point is I don't know what you guys expect in this regard to just topple this power structure, because we aren't talking about something like, I don't know, the French Revolution, right? We're talking about a much more entrenched and a much more robust power structure that will require you understanding and being able to subvert the source of that power.
But it's everywhere.
What's everywhere?
The power.
Well, it's not everywhere. That's the point. It's consolidated. But anyway, like I said, we can talk about that in a later episode. So to everyone who's watching, I'd say to you, assalamu alaikum, which means may peace be with you. And I want to encourage all of you guys to, if you just caught the tail end of this, go back and watch this episode. It was a lot of information given out. And I want you guys to prepare yourselves spiritually, prepare yourselves mentally, and prepare yourselves physically. Start creating these communities before it's too late. And if you think that you can get comfortable where you are and fight the power or fight the power structure from within the power structure, I think that's a mistake. I think you're going to have to bite the bullet and give up some of these comforts in exchange for your freedom. What is your freedom worth to you? Can your freedom be bought for Facebook clicks, likes on Instagram, being able to order Domino's, whatever it is? You got to set the price. You got to set the price for your freedom. Amen. No one else can do that for you. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll see you all in the next one.
Peace. Get some rest.